Cool.
Welcome, everyone,
To another edition
of Talons and Tentacles
Yep.
with Lance and Colt.
Yes, that's us.
Colt and Lance. And a non-glitched version we actually launched without having to, well, hopefully. We're not going to have to disappear in 5 minutes and be like, stuff broke again.
Hopefully it goes through.
Stays. What are we doing tonight, Colt?
We're playing Resident Evil 7, Lance.
Why when there's a new Resident Evil 8 out?
Well, as you might know, you and I have both played the hell out of Resident Evil 8.
I haven't yet. I still haven't gotten the platinum.
I didn't get the platinum. That's not what I was going to say.
I'm just going to be insanely pissed.
I actually just, on my knife run, my knives out run, I just beat Murrow. No, I just got to the stronghold.
Oh, okay.
And got through the first wave and opened up the gate, and then you get into the tower.
Right.
So that's where I was right before you got here.
Are you playing on casual?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The hardest fight for me with the knife run, which was surprisingly easy once you had the Karimbo knife.
Yeah.
But the hardest fight was not the dude with the hammer in the stronghold, but the dude with the hammer right before Miranda.
As when you're playing as Chris.
Yeah. That fight took a good 40
that dude's
minutes.
he is harder anyways. I think
Yes.
I think it's a different creature.
And
He's got the tentacles coming out of his back.
Yoraris or whatever.
No, because you kill Urias in the caves, in the stronghold.
He's that dude's older brother.
Is that what the lore is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you find a note that talks about him.
Oh, okay.
So he's bigger, stronger, and...
What I wish would happen, you know how there's the challenge where if you can kill Urias in the first... Yes.
Salute.
Salud. You know, where you...
I feel like we should clink and be like Ryleth or something, you know, it's the Cthulhu language. How do you say
what
that?
What does Ryleth think? You gotta
you
get
gotta
that
have
guttural
a
sound.
Ryleth. Yeah, there we
It's
go.
basically fish noises is what it is.
I feel like Moreau in 8 talks Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah.
He's very French.
Although I love my favorite part when you're running through trying to do everything and he's kind of chasing you around, in the water. It's when you're running through and he like jumps out of the water and he's like, I'm the best.
Yeah, I love it.
Like it's so stupid
good.
and goofy. I love it.
Love it. The other thing I love about Moreau, not that we're talking about Resident Evil 8 or anything, but I love his introduction is so like childlike, and just the way that he does it is like, no, keep talking for a little bit longer.
Well,
like
he's
so good.
He looks familiar, and I can't. Before he transforms, he looks like something I've seen before, and I can't place it.
I thought he looked like a Chucky doll. If Chucky was a little bit more deformed, I thought he looked very...
Like, I'm wondering if like, he kind of... Like, the way he moves and stuff, like, he kind of looks like the old lady thing from The Dark Crystal.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hunched over, the weird thing on his head, like, the crown
Right.
thing on his head, like... Maybe I think that's what it's reminding me of.
Maybe.
But...
Anyway, so, as we learned from Resident Evil 8, the father's story is done.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd revisit the father's story, because this is definitely
This is where it starts.
Which is kind of sad. I'm kind of sad. Well,
Ethan was a cool character. I like him.
a caveat on that.
I mean, spoilers, guys.
Yeah, but if you watched the stream last week, then you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you saw the whole game.
But I don't feel like Ethan was a very good protagonist in 7. He wasn't nearly as vocal. He didn't have hardly any one-liners.
Well, and it was that voice acting where it's just a very dull affect to what's going on around him.
Exactly. Where I feel they definitely fixed that in 8.
They did. They made him more expressive and more charismatic.
I think that's the word, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, the only instance of it in this game that I can recall is when you're in the old house and Marguerite, like, reaches through and grabs the lantern and then scampers off through the thing. And you go down to follow her and you, like, look down the tunnel and you see her, like, spider crawling away. Mm-hmm. And Ethan says something, he's like, oh, well, that's special. Like, that's, like, the only hint of, like, personality that he has. Other than dropping F-bombs the whole game, you know? Which I was surprised at how restrained 8 was on the language.
I was
7, like, I mean, that's...
It's all over the place.
It's all up in your face, and it adds to the tension and the terror.
Well, and I think it's like we talked
from
about...
the Bakers, you know?
We talked about I love Mini Diablo.
He's cool.
You guys can't see him, but he's sitting right here.
He's very cute.
He is I think one of my, besides Massive Cthulhu here behind us, he's one of my favorite purchases, one of my favorite additions to the room. I
kind of wish he had an LED in his horn.
That would be rad.
In the crystal.
That would be rad. I don't have a whole lot of additions to the room, but Little Diablo.
That's a good one.
Is one of
and your Phoenix.
I'm my Dark Phoenix.
She's still back here.
And she's rad.
She's cool. She's behind the curtain though. The curtain closed
is she?
because the sun sets back there.
Oh,
and it shines right in.
Right.
But yeah, she is back there.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Anyway, back to what we were saying. We were talking about why I feel okay playing through Resident Evil 8 with my 11-year-old son, where I do not feel okay letting him play Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a very different tone. One, I think because Ethan's quest is to save his daughter, there is this sense of wholeness to 8, where it's not like just evil for evil, you know?
Right.
And I think that's what 7 does really well, is that it establishes this family as we're just evil for evil's sake, even though we know later on they're not, they're corrupted and all of that kind of stuff. But there isn't really a quest like saving Mia and all of that. It really kind of takes the background to, I have to get out of this house because these people are insane.
It definitely puts the impetus on survival and escape.
Yeah, where 8 is the entire drive is what is going on with Rose. I have to save Rose. What's going on with Rose?
And just that idea of pushing forward.
Yeah, and I think that dramatically shifts the tone of the game to where it's not as brutal. It's still brutal. I don't mean it that way, but
sure.
It's not as emotionally brutal as this game. And I also feel like it, because of the fantastical elements of 8, now 7 makes sense. When we see them in 7, it makes sense. But we didn't really know that when we played through 7.
No.
So anyway. That was just kind of my intro to what we're doing. And we're going to go back through Resident Evil 7 and talk about what we know now.
That's right.
So let's play. Did you platinum this?
I did. And it was significantly easier than
8?
RE8 is. But this one doesn't have all the challenge things. I wonder if I need to...
That was weird. Go back to the screen again.
It brought up Resident Evil Village.
Yeah. Why?
I'll bet it was an update where... Let's see what it does. Yeah. It takes you to a landing page to go buy it.
Okay.
All right, new game. We're just going to do easy.
Yeah, we can go through easy. We don't need to do Madhouse.
I don't need to... I beat it on Madhouse, so I don't need to feel like I'm...
No, you've got the platinum.
Like I have to turn in my gamer card because I'm not doing it correctly.
Exactly.
And the visuals are different. I mean, obviously it's an older game, but this one, they actually based the modeling on photographs of the actors and stuff like that. Whereas, and I think I remember reading an interview where 8 said they wanted to have a little bit more fantastical feel to it, and so they are rendered
a little bit
in
more
the game
cartoonish.
engine. A little bit more cartoonish. I mean, they still look great, obviously.
They do look great, and it looks amazing on the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure on the Xbox X or whatever that is.
Yeah, what is it? The Series
X?
Series X.
Whatever. I'm not an Xbox man. But
the way they do this, it also adds to that. I hate saying the word gritty, but that gritty realism that this game evokes.
I think that the other thing that Resident Evil 7 does well that 8 kind of abandoned was the found footage vibe.
Yeah. It definitely has kind of that Blair Witch, Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel to it. Where it's very much in your face, very visceral. And
yeah. The opening... So just talking about the difference between the two. The opening for 7 with this, I've got video files from Mia, versus the opening for 8, which is that cartoon, beautifully drawn story.
Yes.
Really sets the tone for both games. This game is grounded in reality, realism.
Well, I mean, this is very photorealistic.
Yeah, very.
It almost kind of looks like stock footage.
Kind of. Also, Resident Evil 7, going back to it, It does give me a lot of Silent Hill 2 vibes.
Absolutely. It's
Like, I wasn't going to be surprised if Mia showed up dead in the back of
no,
the car.
he receives a message from his wife when she's supposedly been missing for 3 years.
Yeah.
And so he goes to find her. Like, that's Silent Hill 2. He gets a letter from his dead wife, who died 3 years earlier, and goes to find her.
Yeah. Which is weird. When was the last time we showed off our little logo guy?
It's been a while.
We don't have to do it. We should do it.
We should do it for the next time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's cool.
He is really cool. I really like him, and then we can get our.
I do like that they reused this car model in Resident Evil 3 remake.
Oh, do they?
When you're in the opening sequence, when you're on the rooftop trying to get out, you go up to get on the helicopter, and then Nemesis blows it up.
Oh yeah.
And so Jill like gets in a car as Nemesis is like advancing on her, and she like rams him a few times and like rams him off the side of the building, but it's the same car. I am excited to revisit this, though. Like, I do, we talk a lot about how this falls down in the second half. But the opening is really good. The opening hours, And I really like Resident Evil does a good job with establishing shots.
Yeah, they do.
Like, I love this. I like when you first see the castle in the village, when you come out of the woods,
Good.
It's really good.
And Ethan's like, where the hell am I? I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, but
Who
I
knows,
love
buddy?
it. Love it. Also, the thing with the van, like they have the
It's
have the
creepy.
van here in 7, and they have the van in 8, and it just is kind of
So
fun.
the vibe of this is like True Detective, like specifically like season 1, where it's all in the South and
right.
there's the weird, creepy,
Sewer daters.
serial killer crap going on.
Right.
With like the weird tableaus.
Yes.
Accept her gift.
Her being
Evelyn.
Which I'm still not 100% sure how Evelyn was connected to Miranda.
So, in the notes that you find in 8, the mold.
Hijack.
I
love that they.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
And then he's just gone.
gone.
So, the mold.
They have very similar openings. What's going on?
My controller's like funny.
Weird. They have very similar openings. 7 and 8, because they have that. They do that with the werewolf too. They have the werewolf, like, kind of show up and disappear.
Yeah. Like where you see something being like moving, like the horse gets dragged away, the guy gets pulled into the house, the wolves are running through the woods just ahead
and there's
of you.
even that shot where the werewolf darts across the door.
Yeah.
But as soon as you turn, there's like shelves and all that crap there. So where
good.
did he go?
Yeah.
It's
pretty good.
It is pretty good.
All right, let's see. Sorry, I had to change my controller. I guess that one's wearing out. But anyways, so Evelyn was derived from the, what do they call it? The megamycete, the metamycete
Metamycete. Mm-hmm.
from 8, which is the mold, basically.
Right.
However, Evelyn is different because there's a note where Miranda talks about an organization that she like gave a sample of the metamycete to, thinking, because they were like, yeah, we can do some genetic engineering with it to bring your daughter back.
Right.
And then they took that and created Evelyn as a bioweapon, specifically to be used as a bioweapon. And kind of like, it doesn't come right out and say it, but you get the hint that they didn't tell Miranda everything that they were going to do with it, and kind of, I guess, kind of sidelined her with that. But that's where Evie comes from, or Evelyn comes from. And so there is a little bit of a difference, but the base specimen is the same. I think they said, the note says that there's like a 99.95% match.
Yeah, I remember.
Between the two.
Why do you think they didn't give Ethan a face?
I don't know. It feels weird. Whoa, it's weird. Going back to the old inventory screen.
Right, yeah. Yeah, from Texas.
Do you have any thoughts?
I've thought a lot about it. Because I think it is a really odd choice that we don't see his face in either game.
Mm-hmm.
And even in his in-character model in 8, they deliberately left off his head.
They obscure his face.
And I think part of the reason why is because of the first-person view, and he is our perspective. He's our perspective character. He is the point of view character.
So do you think it's more for immersion?
Yes. I think so. And I think it gives it a much more realistic, like, I can put myself in his place, because he doesn't have a face. So he could realistically look like me.
This game still looks really good, dude.
It does look really good. I love that this is the same area that we got from the demo.
Yeah.
Now, who is that a picture of?
I'm not sure. I would say
Is
it's
it Evelyn? That's interesting. The game is pulling a lot of punches that 8 did. Because we even, in the first house in 8, you go down and you see that picture of Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was gratuitous swearing there. You didn't need it. It was just
Come on, Ethan. We're just here for the dead crows in microwaves.
But
a lot of dead crows.
That elicits no response.
That goo is disgusting.
It really is.
I do like the hoarder aspect of this house, though. You know, like there's trash bags just everywhere, and like in the oven.
Over 20 missing in 2 years. Those must be the mold creatures in the basement.
Must be. Gross.
I do feel like there is the one question that I have about 8 that isn't answered is where the crap did all the people come from? Because that village is not big enough to support all of those people that Heisenberg is putting in the factory.
Yeah. Or just as many, werewolves.
Yeah. Where'd they all come from?
Like, I do like that little detail that they've been taking people, in this game and experimenting on them to turn them into molded.
Right.
Like, it's creepy. Especially when you get down in the basement and kind of see where, specifically you find notes about.
Yeah, like, who's that?
Like, I think
that's
that's Jack, but I feel like that's Mia.
Is it Mia?
And it gives it that, I think they do this on purpose because it's giving you, we don't know exactly what's going on yet. And so it really kind of gives that weird, is this a sexual crime that's happened type of thing,
Right,
and it gives that level of like, discomfort, I love that.
I do think part of what 8 does better than 7 is variety of monsters.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we really only get the molded.
We get the molded. I mean, we get some that are fat molded. We get some that crawl on all fours, but they're still the same thing.
Yeah, they're just the molded.
It's just mold, slime monsters.
And I mean, it was a lot of fun taking down werewolves and vampires and flying bats,
gargoyle things, and
the different. Even though I hate them,
the Wolfenstein enemies.
Yeah, the Panzers. Now what you gonna do, Ethan? How you gonna get up? This part really creeped me out. I had a really hard time playing through 7 because of this very specific intro of him.
Well, it's very
Ugh.
very claustrophobic.
Which again, it's mirroring 8, in which you have that escape sequence from Heisenberg in the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is kind of similar to that a little bit, but this is just like this water's not clean.
Well, and they do a good job with like the bubbling water. Like you're expecting something to come up and grab you.
Yeah. It's just creepy though. Like it's just creepy overall.
This place has got to smell bad, though, dude. Dead body. Yeah, just all the missing people posters. Like, it's very...
Creepy.
They do... This is a good opening. Like,
It is a good opening.
I really like it. I think it's very well done. So much so that, you know, when we get to the point where the game definitely starts to get boring, it makes me wish that we just had more of what they do with
More of
opening
this.
act.
I totally agree.
And so like this note here. So these are people that they've taken. Dead, turned, dead, dead, turned. And then one that says L.
Right.
Which we'll find out who L is later.
Which is very similar to the list we get in the basement of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the first item that we get in both games is a bolt cutter.
It's true.
And Mia
Mia
noticeably does not have any note next to her.
Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going on with Mia yet.
Thank God I found you. It's me. It's Ethan.
Ethan?
Are you alright?
You shouldn't be here.
What do you mean? You contacted me.
No, I wouldn't. Did I? Did anyone see you? Did he see you?
Who else is here? What the hell's going on?
Daddy's coming. We need to go.
Daddy?
We need to go now!
It does make it seem very sexual, cultish.
Yeah. Like, it's very...
Where are you taking
I don't know. It just... It gets under your skin.
Yeah.
More so. And I think this game gets under your skin more than Resident Evil 8 does.
Oh, by far. Yeah, no, I have no desire. Besides playing through this retrospective, I have no desire to go back and play Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
You know. Even though it is a continuation of 8. Honestly, though, I mean,
What is it?
I had someone ask me, well, if I liked Resident Evil 8, should I play Resident Evil 7? And I said no. They're very different games.
They're very different games.
I don't think just because you like 8 means that you'll like 7.
I don't think so either. And that's not saying that you can't like both of them, because I like both of them.
Sure.
But they are different
They're
games.
very different games.
Tonal, in tone.
Yeah.
And
Well,
atmosphere.
and I feel like Resident Evil 7 came out at a time in which we were kind of
Mia, we have to talk.
in this weird, like, what's happening with horror in video games anyway, because PT had come out but then got canceled, and PT was a major success, and I think Capcom looked at that and said, how can we make a game like that? And so we got the house, we got first person shift, we shifted to first person from the traditional third person. We got a much more personal story, and I think it dramatically changed Resident Evil moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have gotten, Resident Evil 7. Definitely, we wouldn't have gotten it without PT. But I also feel like Resident Evil 8, we wouldn't have gotten Resident Evil 8 without
those inspirations.
those inspirations as well.
Well, and I also think a big part of it is when Resident Evil 6 was released, it was all over the place, and it didn't know what it wanted to be. Did it want to be a horror game? Was it an action game? Like, it was just
Yeah, it
a
was
kind of
weird.
a weird conglomerate mess.
It was weird.
And
Well, and they did all the...
I think it got to that point of critical mass where Capcom was like, okay, we need to either reinvent Resident Evil because what we're doing with our current trajectory isn't working.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
this
and
is
they'd
a
even
very,
come out-
very different game than what Resident Evil 6 was.
Yeah. Well, they'd even come out with all of the Resident Evil. No, see, that's Evelyn.
Yeah, that's Evelyn.
We don't know that yet, though. They'd even come out with like all the Resident Evil Revelation games and all of those that
Yeah.
were like insane. They were really brutal, from what I remember. But they were trying to like reinvent what happened in the original game and everything.
Yeah.
And I think there was even one that kind of played off of Resident Evil 2 as well, if I remember right. Like, not Resident Evil 2, but Code Veronica.
Yeah, so Code Veronica... Code Veronica is an interesting game because it was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 3. And then Capcom wanted a game to come out sooner, and the game that was Resident Evil 3 was just going to be a side game, a side project. That's why it's very different. It's very
Right.
kind of more action-focused. It's shorter.
And you have
It's
the
kind of more
stalking from
streamlined.
Nemesis and all
Yeah.
that.
It was... But they realized that if they reused the assets from Resident Evil 2, they could get a game out quickly. And so that's why Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out, and then Code Veronica was moved from being Resident Evil 3 to the side project. So they basically just kind of switched the two games.
Right.
Because Code Veronica does do a lot with Wesker and Chris and Claire, and, you know, it's very much a Redfield story,
Sure.
while setting up Wesker to be the eventual, you know,
Bad guy. of
Matrix dude that he becomes.
everything. Right. This shift, I didn't see coming.
Well, it's so... Like, this is very Evil Dead.
Yes.
Like, this whole sequence. Like, even, you know, the basement. And I love how they slow your movement down here.
Right.
Just to draw out that tension. Like, she's a Deadite. Right?
Yeah.
I do like the meme about how short Ethan's story would be if villains would stop throwing him when they grab him and
Right.
give him a chance to fight back. I don't know if I could handle this in VR, dude. This is an intense game.
No. Now see, I could play. I think I could play Resident Evil 8 in VR
Yeah, absolutely.
and be fine. And
don't
I think it
that-
would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think I could do 7 though.
I don't think I could do 7. Like we said before, 7. There's so much more tense moments in 7.
Can we hear her?
Like, this is scary. Like, this is very scary.
Yes.
Leave me alone. I deserve this.
Like. Okay, so I love that they kept the same healing animation from 8. Like,
Yeah.
Ethan's just so used to pouring this crap over him.
It's very
So-
funny.
It's funny. Okay, so we're gonna get into a little bit of spoilers for
Sure.
what we know in 8.
Yeah.
Is Mia a mold person?
In 8?
Right? No, right there.
Right here? Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's the only explanation.
Right. So she's been mutated into
she's
a
been
mold,
turned. Yeah.
and that's why Evelyn has control over her.
Mm-hmm.
And in about 4 seconds, like, just the personal trauma of this. They opened it. Hey, Curtis.
Hey, Curtis.
They opened it with a one-on-one fight with your wife.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's crazy.
Like, it's a pretty bold move.
It is a very bold move. Like, and then having that happen, where you're like,
Well, and I like how
Oh,
you... I
now
like
she's back
what...
to normal.
Yeah, I like... Like, this opening is
And
very,
reaching out for
very
you.
scary and very good.
it really
Very
makes you
well
say,
done.
what the crap is going
It's
on
like, what am I
here?
playing here?
Yeah.
Where's Chris
Well,
punching boulders? Where's Leon?
Exactly. Where's Leon? Where's Claire?
Doing goofy one-liners, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's... Like, this is the epitome of a reinvention for a franchise.
Yes.
You really shouldn't have come here.
Who's this? What the fuck is going on?
My name's Zoe.
Where's Zoe in 8?
The attic.
So the only reference to her is in a report that comes with the trauma pack. If you get the deluxe edition or whatever, there's some downloadable things, and one of them is a bunch of concept art, you know. And then there's a whole file talking about it. Zoe like researching, you know, well, what happened to Ethan and Mia after Louisiana. Where did they go? You know, she's been trying to, you know, because she went through
Right.
a lot of trauma too, lost her entire family, you know.
Right.
And it's, you know, it's basically her. I love that she's just gone.
Just pause for 1 second.
Sure.
I want you to look at our stream. Yeah, the blood spatter in the corner is behind our logo, and I kind of like it.
Oh, it's pretty rad looking.
I'm wondering if we should permanently do something like that.
Have some blood splatters.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
because it's pretty rad.
I like it. That looks really good. Cool. Just have that as an overlay.
Yeah,
I like
just
it.
like have just have a splattering of blood behind our Cthulhu.
Oh yeah.
What is his name, by the way? Did we ever name him?
I don't think we ever named him.
What should his name be?
Well, he's a Talon,
He is a Talon.
right?
He's an undead Talon.
He's something.
I mean, obviously he's undead, right?
Yeah.
I think we should call him Eddie.
Eddie.
I like that name. Oh, look, we just killed Mia, but now she's back alive.
Why is she walking around?
How does that happen? And now she's gone. Where did she go?
Hello?
This also reminds me a crap ton of our exploration of the campus.
Oh yeah.
That's just one of the more
That was a spooky experience.
freaky moments of my life.
It's okay. It's okay. It's me.
I don't believe you. You have something in your hand.
Have done that! It fucking hurts!
Ethan gets a lot of trauma to his hands.
He really does.
Let's see how you feel.
This intro, even now, I know how this game ends.
Yeah, I know exactly what happens.
I know exactly what happens.
And it still stresses
and I
me
know,
out.
I know the explanation for 8 and everything. I know it all. This still gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh, man.
Like, it's so... It's scary, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
it's beyond
scary.
No, replaying this, there's no way in hell I'd let my son play this.
But, like,
There's
don't
the
you
scare.
wish they would have kept this going for the entire game? Like, this vibe?
It would have. Well,
Instead
they
of,
kind
like,
do.
instead of, like, devolving into just more mold monsters and caves and a freighter ship?
No, yes, I definitely.
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I agree. I agree exactly with what you're saying.
Like, they do a really good job with the bakers.
They do.
But then once you get...
Once you get
Away
outside
from-
of the bakers,
yeah.
it kind of falls apart.
Like, and I don't even really like Lucas that much.
Well, then I don't really care. Like, I lose as soon as you get out of the house. I think because the house feels so confining. As soon as you get outside of the house, you feel like you've beat the game. It's like, I
Yeah.
survived. I escaped the house.
So just let me
Nothing
go.
else is going to matter.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think he would have quit bleeding that fast.
I don't think so either. Can you imagine
And
how
at
much that
least-
would sting?
Yeah. At least in 8, he's learned basic first aid skills.
Yeah, like he wraps his
Yeah, he
appendages
wraps
and
his
stuff.
When the werewolf bites his fingers off, he wraps him. And, you know, Ethan's become a Boy Scout in between 7 and 8.
Well, he had combat training
That's true.
and survival training.
Yeah.
Which, it's still very stupid to me that Chris just doesn't tell him what's going on.
No, I love no. Okay,
Like,
let's be honest.
It's so dumb.
The best line in all of 8 is where that nameless soldier is like, Chris, you should have told him. There wasn't time.
But you
still
should have
should have
told
told
him.
him. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That line's good.
The boulder punching line
asshole
good.
is pretty
It
fantastic.
is good. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like, okay, Chris, you just came into Ethan's home, completely obliterated Mia, and stole his daughter, and you can't give him a, hey Chris, or hey Ethan, it's gonna make sense.
Listen,
I promise.
there's a reason we're doing this instead of just knocking
Yeah.
him out. Like, come
Knocking
on,
him
guys.
out. Well, and even when
Like,
when
it's silly.
he encounters you in Moreau's area,
Yeah.
it's like,
He's still-
come on, Ethan, you got time to talk to me now.
He's like, you shouldn't have come here. It's like, dude, I've taken out 2 lords. What have you been doing?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Like, I think I can handle it.
Worthless piece of crap, Chris. Working for Blue Umbrella.
Which I am disappointed we didn't learn more about Blue Umbrella.
They're gonna have to give it to us in a DLC. You think they're gonna do DLCs for 8?
And there's still a lot of unanswered about what's going on with the Duke.
Yeah, there is a crap ton that's
Like,
unanswered about
what
the
is
Duke.
going on there?
What is going on there? So, I mean, I think, one, from what I've read, the game sold insanely well.
Oh, yeah.
I think one reason why, it's our first PS5 game in 6 months.
Yep.
Right? Like, welcome to the
There's
family.
good old
son.
Jack.
Okay, so now,
Moment of truth.
I want to theorize here. Ethan dies.
Right there.
Right there. He is dead. So the Ethan that we know and love never really was the real Ethan?
It's definitely like his consciousness and his memories and stuff, like what the mold. But how does he retain?
Does he though?
But that's what I'm lost on, and I think we need a little bit more explanation. But we'll never get it because it's Resident Evil, right? It's not that deep of a game. But the mold, like we've seen what people become when they're infected with the mold. They become mold monsters. How come Ethan never becomes a mold monster?
Why didn't Mia?
I think with Mia, I think it's because she is the mother figure, and maybe that's why with Ethan too, because he's the dad figure. Because the whole impetus of Evelyn is creating
Jack
a
doesn't
family unit.
Jack doesn't turn into a mold monster, and he's definitely mold.
So I think it's got
My
to be
question
it's got to
is-
be something to do with the family like symbiotic relationship that Evelyn is doing,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Like
So
she's creating the semblance of a family. Is
Yeah.
what she's doing.
He's a mold monster at this moment, right? Mm-hmm. So my question is, does the mold monster Ethan, molded Ethan, retain all of Ethan's memories?
I don't know. I mean,
Because he just asked, "Where's Mia?"
yeah.
So he's at least aware. He's aware of Mia. But I'm just wondering, like, is this a new Ethan? Is the Ethan that we have in 8 the same, the same Ethan that drove to this house? Or is it a different...
I mean, because that's what 8 tells us, is that he died.
Yeah.
But, when Jack stepped on his face.
Yeah, he's been dead the whole time.
So I think it's just...
Which is why he can handle this.
And why he can heal.
Yeah.
There's that cop again. Pigs.
How did Lucas lose his hand?
Jack just cut it off.
I missed that while we were talking.
Yeah. Again, this is like evoking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre scene
Ugh.
at the dinner table, even with a old lady,
Right.
in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, his grandpa.
Right.
That, like, it's so creepy, dude.
It is creepy.
So I'm going to try to activate the the special scene that happens in this room.
Okay. Now, see, this hallway is
This is
super
very PT. It's the same
Very,
angles.
yeah, same angles, same like impossibly long hallways.
Mm-hmm.
We should play through PT again.
So good.
How many times have we played it on stream?
We played through it a lot.
The correct answer was not enough.
Oh, it's never enough.
Never enough. It's never enough. It's like that song from... What's that musical?
I don't know.
With Hugh Jackman. What's it? The P.T. Barnum musical? Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman, yeah. Where'd Jack go? Like, Jack's scary.
He is scary. He is scary until, like, the very end of the game, and then he's not
And he's
scary,
like the
and you
nicest
feel
person
so
ever.
bad
And you're
for
like, oh,
him.
I didn't mean to kill you.
Like, I'm so
but
sorry, Jack.
What did you want me to do?
I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. See, he's definitely molded because he's got, like, he's walking through walls and shit.
This game does a lot of good things, dude.
It does.
There we go.
But I do feel like they are fundamentally different games.
They are.
I'm on to you.
All right, here we go. So we're going to try to get this to activate. So he's got to be in the room with us when we try to open this hatch. Come on, Jack.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Looks like he's stuck.
I got the gift running all for me. The gift meaning the mold.
Yes. Evelyn's gift.
There you go. Now you got him.
Okay.
Wrong house, boy.
There it is.
I don't like this game.
Like, he's so gleeful about this.
Yeah.
You can do it.
That's a strong first aid kit. I'm surprised we didn't see that return. And magically his leg reattached.
Yep.
Here's Daddy. You shut the door, and it's gonna stop him from getting you. I think the most brutal scene in this game, honestly, is with the cop.
Oh, yeah. It's like a... Like, it's intense.
It's intense.
I don't like it. Especially because it's, like, not a well-aimed cut.
No. No, they deliberately film it. They deliberately shot it to make you feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. I like how you find one of these coins in 8.
Yeah, I do too.
Alright, we made it to our save room. Cool. Alright, we're going to take the saw. Take infinite ammo. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Take the X-ray glasses.
I don't have enough room yet. I do need a gun though. I take. I got the walking shoes, so I can move faster.
Nice.
I've got the Essence of Defense and the Secrets of Defense that maximizes your guard, and then I've got the infinite ammo. I've got the saw.
That's all that matters. Getting the saw is all that matters.
You did good, Ethan.
Zoe, right?
Shut up and listen if you want to stay alive. You gotta get out of that house.
No, she
There might be a
is.
way out to the main hall.
Alright.
Oh, and that thing on your wrist is a codex. Don't lose it.
I love the staples though.
He doesn't have the staples in 8.
He doesn't. It's like it's healed.
Where do they?
Who knows?
Where do they go?
Who knows?
What's your favorite gun in 8?
I really liked the 1911 when it was fully upgraded. But the Magnum's always fun.
The Wolfbane.
The Wolfsbane.
That's a pretty gun.
Yeah.
The Stalker's the better version, or the Stake.
The stake, yeah.
The Stake is the better version of it, but the Wolfsbane's a beautiful gun.
Yeah, it's a cool looking gun.
I just always, when I was unable to pass anything, like things started really irritating me and I couldn't kill them.
Yeah.
Infinite ammo grenade launcher, bro.
I just wish you could hold more than one grenade. Like it
I wish
reloads
you
so
could
slowly.
reload. Yeah, it does reload slowly. But if you shoot it with the flashbang, it pauses the enemies enough.
Mm-hmm. The shotgun was fun, like for the first little bit, but then I kind of got bored of the shotgun.
Yeah.
Me, no. No.
Sniper rifle's pretty fun.
We got several calls about some missing persons lately. You understand? I gotta get out of here. You're not listening to me. There are crazy people in this house trying to fucking kill me. Alright, let me tell you this. You don't deserve to seem like you're playing with poor dick yourself.
It's like, look at my arm. Look at the barbed wire.
Uh-huh.
Like, come on. Something's going on here, cop.
An outsider like yourself may not be wrong. Right. I'll tell you whatever you want. Alright, that's more like it. Now, meet me in the garage. Let's talk about it.
That's a dumb
You
idea.
gotta give me your gun.
That is pretty funny, though. Hey, cop, give me your gun.
Look, officer. Deputy. Right. Deputy. You want to see my name in the obituaries? But you want to be a hero and save my life.
It's a pretty compelling argument.
It's pretty good.
A fucking pocket knife?
It is pretty good, though. Like, as a cop,
Yeah.
like, you know, accepting, like, the suspension of disbelief with the barbed wire and everything like that.
What am I gonna
If somebody was saying those things to you, no way you'd give him your gun, obviously.
I wouldn't give him my gun, but I'd also be like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very as calm as he is about it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Like, just calm down, meet me in the garage. Why can't you get me out of the window?
Yeah. Just break the window
Like,
open,
break
dude.
the window open.
I don't need to pick up stuff.
You don't need no ammo.
I got infinite ammo.
Yeah.
I like that you needed a pocket knife, though, to open the tape.
Yes. And the cop just happens to give it to you.
Hey, We gotta get the fuck out of here. First, you need to tell me what you're doing out here alone in the middle of the night. Me? What about you? What's my job? Why don't you do your job and tell me? Answer my questions.
Like, where does Jack come from?
I don't know. But this scene gives me so much anxiety. I just look at
So good, dude. It's so good.
It's so brutal.
Dude, Jack is good.
Jack is good, and I love him as a villain. And this scene, this whole garage sequence. Oh my gosh.
Well, I feel like
This is not
definitely, I'm going to say it again, but the opening parts of this game do some really good things. Like, this is a very dynamic boss fight.
Yeah.
Because, who would ever think that you could actually get into the car?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can. But,
Right.
going off basic information
Curtis,
on how
that's
to
not
play
even-
these games.
It's not even funny, Curtis. That's not even funny.
What's he saying?
I guess that guy lost his head. I love that we also got a car sequence in 8.
You push one button.
Yeah. But we still got a car sequence.
Yeah. So good, dude.
I'm gonna run over Jack. Is he dead?
We did it.
Where'd he go? What happened?
There's no wrinkles to this boss fight at all, guys. We got him.
No wrinkles. Oh, shit.
Let's finish this, you and I. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you for a ride. No.
I couldn't handle this game in VR, dude. I could not handle it.
Like, okay. Now, in this moment, I'm like, yeah, right, you survived, Ethan. Yeah, right, you survived. You know what I mean? Like, that I-beam came straight for your head,
Oh, yeah.
and he just gets out.
Dude.
And so does
So
Jack.
is Jack, but he's on fire now.
And he's on fire. And I love that Jack just acts like nothing hurts him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Ethan at least still has the pretense of, ow, this is gonna hurt. Jack is just like...
Like, Jack is
feels
like...
no pain whatsoever.
Well, and he's having fun with it. Like, he's enjoying himself.
Yeah. Which again, I'm going back to the question of, is Mold Ethan really Ethan? Because Mold Jack isn't real Jack.
No. Like, his
And we
personality
see
is
that.
different.
His personality completely changes. So, is Mold Ethan the real Ethan?
See, and again, I don't think we're ever going to get those kind of answers because it's a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, right. They didn't think through all of this.
You know what I mean?
They
Like-
just created a frame to have
Sure.
awesome gameplay.
Sure. And it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
But those...
This is insane. This whole sequence is insane.
Yeah.
And now the game kind of calms down a
A
little bit.
little bit.
The
For a
game
moment.
calms down a little bit from the freaking roller coaster ride that it's been up until now.
Yeah.
We at least Jack is out of the picture for a little bit.
We beat Jack. We won.
Yeah.
That was easy. Not too bad.
One of the 3 family members is dead already. And now we just have to get out of the house. Which, I mean, we still have that element kind of escaping the house with the castle. And
Yeah. It has that vibe to it.
Arguably, I think the castle is much more fun to explore.
Well, it's a castle.
full of vampire chicks.
Who
doesn't want to explore that?
in going back and playing the game a few times, the dollhouse,
It's
you're
so
hallucinating.
Good. It's so good.
The whole time because of the yellow flowers, right?
Yes.
And so I was thinking it would have been really cool if they would have like recreated parts of the Baker house.
It would have been rad.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah. I do feel like the basement, though, the basement still has those, like, impossible spaces and...
Oh, yeah. The
All of that
basement's
is
fantastic.
Yeah. But it would have been rad if they would have had part of the basement be the Baker house.
Yeah.
Just for Ethan to be like, I'm not back here again.
What? Because it's obviously forcing him to, like, face traumatic things.
Yeah. Go back for just a second. I
Sure.
want to look at that broken... Like, is kind of an umbrella symbol,
A little bit.
right?
So that's one of my questions I have about 8. So the story, the storybook thing that you're reading,
Yes.
talks about the girl being trapped in the mirror,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And then all of the mirrors in the game are covered with cloth.
Right.
I know there's something there that I'm supposed to be inferring from that, but I don't know what it is. Like, in the context of the story of her being trapped in the mirror, like, what does that mean for the real world thing that's going on with Rose? Because Rose is split up into pieces.
But is she really?
I don't know. See, I don't get all of that stuff.
I don't get it either.
Because those flasks look ancient.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand that, and I don't understand what the analog is between... Because the story is supposed to be metaphorical.
Right.
Right?
Well, and it's definitely Rose's story.
So what does it mean that she's trapped in the mirror within the story? Okay, I get it. She's out of reach. The father and the mother are trying to find her.
Yep.
Right? But then why are all the mirrors covered up?
But
Especially in the Winters household at the beginning, because that's Miranda, not Mia.
Yep.
So why is Miranda covering up mirrors?
I think
I don't quite get it. I don't understand. I feel like I'm missing something. Like, it's almost there, but I feel like there's something missing.
I think the reason why is because Miranda, everything that she's done is to bring her daughter back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that particularly in the story, in the Village of Shadows, which we're supposed to take that witch is Miranda.
Yes.
I think that there are moments, particularly in the boss fight with her, where I feel like I don't want to say regret, because I don't think Miranda feels regret, but doesn't recognize herself in who she's become, right? And I think she's really lost herself in terms of who she actually is and who her daughter is.
Well, and it's one of those things where, like, she's been trying to do this for centuries.
Yeah.
To bring her daughter back, right? Because
Yeah.
that castle is ancient.
Yep.
The castle was given to Lady Dimitrescu by Miranda.
Right.
And so she's been doing this, and so I definitely do think it does have that aspect of it. It's like she's doing all this to bring her daughter back, but at what cost? And if her daughter were to come back, would her daughter be happy with that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go back real quick. This is what disturbed me.
The 20 pet collars?
The 20 pet collars. What the hell's he doing with 20 pet collars?
It's creepy.
But no, I feel like Miranda really lost herself to the Megamycete, and she says as much in the actual boss fight.
Sure.
Which is like, this has helped me reveal my true self. This has helped me do all of that. But I also feel like part of it is they don't have those mirrors. We don't see Ethan's face throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is a lot of questions surrounding identity and surrounding who they are, because at the end of the game,
Ethan's not Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan's not Ethan.
Miranda's not Miranda. Mia's not Mia.
And which calls into question is Ethan and Miranda actually Rose's parents? Or is Rose another Evelyn made by the BSAA? Which is what I think is actually going on. I don't think that Rose and Mia, or Mia and Ethan, are the actual parents of Rose. Because they're mold monsters. How did they create a human being?
But I think only Ethan is a mold monster because Mia is cured in this game.
Okay, but how did he father a child?
I don't know that, but I know that Mia is normal.
But and I think throughout all of 8, everybody, every single villain has some line that says Rose is special, Rose is special, Rose is special, and Ethan's the only one that doesn't see it.
Right.
And I don't think that Ethan is actually Rose's father, even though at the end of the game it says the father's story is done. I don't necessarily think that Ethan is her biological dad. And I say that because I feel like the game has so much to do with everyone kind of vying for this identity of Miranda's favorite one, or like they've got a bunch of it calls into question a lot of identity.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't see Ethan's face is part of that. I think that the mirrors being covered up is all part of that. Where the hell did he get that hammer?
So it's an aerator, is what it is. It's a lawn thing.
Oh, you're right, it is.
It's a lawn tool.
But it looks like it was designed for murder.
Oh, it's terrifying, but I'm pretty sure I have one out in my shop.
Ooh, a tape called Mia. See, and so is Ethan's body his original body that's just been infected with mold? Because, like, Jack can regenerate everything.
Right.
Right? And yet we see in Resident Evil 8, Ethan's not able to regenerate his 2 fingers.
No.
So
He can reattach.
Sure. He can reattach, but he doesn't
can't regrow.
regenerate.
Yeah.
But Jack is full on regenerating his entire head.
So I honestly think that it's more of a instance of that's not deep narrative suppositions to pull from it. I think it's just Resident Evil storytelling where it's not like I don't think they took those kind of things into account. I don't think there is an answer. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I do think that it's kind of, I mean, we're trying to infer a lot of meaning
Sure.
in a game that really just wants to sell shooting werewolves.
Sure. Like I don't think, and this is the thing with Resident Evil, like when you start
They're not literary masterpieces.
Well, yeah, when you start shining a microscope on the story and the lore, it falls apart pretty quickly. Like it's not open to multiple interpretations like Silent Hill stuff is. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't think it's trying to be.
I don't think it is either. I think it's popcorn horror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be scary but forgettable
Right.
for the most part. It's like, yeah, you walk away from it. It's like, yeah, that was scary.
Well, and it's
But it doesn't get under your skin.
It's just fun enough for you to play through the game 4 times without getting bored.
Yes. Lots of fun. Absolutely lots of fun. It's the same
Lots of
reason
fun.
people watch Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, lots of fun, but not a lot.
It's fun and
not a
dumb.
lot to dissect there.
Yeah.
But I do feel like 8 is the most coherent story we've gotten.
Oh,
from a
absolutely. It absolutely is.
Resident Evil game. And it left a lot of questions. Like, I really did want to...
See, this is creepy too. Like I like the notes that Resident Evil has always done a good job of leaving these notes,
Right.
to piece together the story. Like it's the type of creepiness that is it doesn't come right out and say it, but the implications are scary. Like the pet collar thing. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
What is
like,
going on there?
3 college girls. They're all rotten. Lucas is a damn idiot. What does that mean? That's creepy.
What does that mean?
Like,
Like
that's-
he raped them?
Was there
Or,
something
like,
else
what's
going on? Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes back to Resident Evil 1, the itchy scratchy note. Like, that's a very good note.
Right.
But again, it's all very face value narrative.
They look like they may all be victims, and I think it's interesting that they're pointing out here. You know, they've had multiple people transform, right? So this is obviously supposed to be
That's
the
used to be a person, right?
Yeah, that was the husband from the husband and wife
Yeah.
thing. We don't know exactly, but obviously it was a successful experiment.
Yep, it used to be human.
And so that I feel like they are looking for someone like Ethan, who can be, or like Jack and Lucas and Marguerite.
Well, they're looking for something that will bond with Evelyn. Like,
Yes.
that's the point. That's what Evelyn is having them do. She's building a family. And
Right.
I think that's part of the thing. Like, initially she was created to be introduced to societies and civilization. That's why she takes on the form of a girl, because people have a soft spot for kids.
Right.
I'll be like, oh, here's a defenseless girl. We need to take her in and take care of her. And then she turns on them and kills everybody.
Right.
Like, that's the bioweapon side of it. But Evelyn went against her programming. And that's why she got out of control, is because she was trying to recreate a family. She was trying to, you know, create surrogates of things that she never had.
Well, and do you think that came from Miranda? Because
It's
Miranda's,
possible, 'cause there is
Miranda's trying
definitely
so desperately
Oh, yeah.
to resurrect her daughter.
It's definitely the familial bond thing going on, you know, the mother losing the daughter.
Well, and it's interesting that Evelyn hides herself as an old woman.
Yeah. Well, she's not hiding herself. That's the aging process. Like, that's it explains it in this game that's the imperfect side of the mold, the metamycete. It's hard to talk about it because we learned it in this game, but the metamycete didn't exist until Resident Evil 8.
Right.
Right. But it says in this game that Evelyn was created, but the aging process is a side effect. And so, but the mold is also, Evelyn through the mold is also able to create hallucinations in
Right.
people. So she portrays herself as a little girl
Oh yeah, right.
because it you know, she's playing with your mind basically, but the aging process,
So again, like,
she aged very quickly.
yeah, things fall apart when you start thinking about it too
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Because you look at it and say, okay, but Miranda hasn't aged.
Yeah. So again, is that because Miranda is
Well, and Ethan hasn't
the
aged.
pure form of the mold, whereas
Possibly.
Evelyn is the corrupted form of the mold because it's
Maybe.
been played with?
Maybe.
But then that's what Ethan would be, wouldn't it? And Mia, up until she gets cured, that's what she would be. And the Bakers, that's what they would be. So yeah, it goes back to the thing. Well, why aren't they just mold monsters? You know, and so we have to do a lot of guesswork with it.
Right.
You know, ultimately, it doesn't really matter.
No. It's
But
still fun.
it's fun to talk about, yeah.
Theorize. It's still fun to theorize.
But the frustrating side of that is that we're never going to get a satisfying answer to it.
No, we never will.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's just like Chris's DLC, not a hero.
Exactly. What
Like-
does that mean?
It didn't answer anything.
It didn't answer a thing.
And it didn't even really give us the not a hero thing. Like, it didn't even answer, like, if I remember correctly, you're hunting Lucas, right?
Yeah. You go after Lucas.
Yeah,
And you
you
kill
go
Lucas, and then that's it.
That's it.
You don't learn
So it's
anything
like,
about Umbrella.
okay, but if you're killing Lucas and Lucas was a bad guy, doesn't that make you a hero? So why does it say not a hero?
Yeah. Like,
I don't understand.
It doesn't make a lot
It doesn't
of
make any sense.
Yeah. It's silly.
Well, the same with why Chris didn't tell Ethan what was going on.
Exactly.
And I also feel, okay, so I've thought a lot about the ending of 8. And the more that I think about it, the more that it pisses me off. Because they had the ability to actually tell a very cohesive and emotionally charged story.
Sucking at this, man.
And then Ethan dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out, no, actually, he's been dead all along.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And then he's alive again.
then he sacrifices himself to save everyone because he's going to blow up the Megamite seat. Where I feel like if they would have just let him be... If they revealed he was a mutant, like, come on, he's an X-Men, whatever.
Sure.
I'll go along with it. They would have let him have that emotional gravitas of sacrificing himself for his daughter. I feel like they really, really cheapened the entire story by killing him 5 minutes before. And then, I took out Miranda, and now I'm gonna sacrifice myself for the best of humanity.
Yeah.
Like, that sacrifice really feels cheap in a way. But more than just cheap. It's more like... I don't know. It just aggravates me because they had the opportunity to tell a very emotionally satisfying story. And they kind of messed it up by killing Ethan
Yeah.
one too many times.
There we go. 3 A's and a handprint. So creepy, dude.
It is creepy. Well, their designs are just creepy.
It's a good design. I just wish there was more variety
Yeah,
aside from just that. But when you first see him, it's cool and scary.
it is cool and scary. And I also hate... this is what I was really getting at. I hate Chris's reaction.
Yeah.
It's just so like, okay, Ethan, I accept. It's like, no, like, try harder, Chris.
It's like, how about at least pretend to come up with
pretend
something
to
else that
yeah,
you can do.
something. Like,
Well, and not only
literally,
that-
Ethan just solved your entire problem. Everything that you've been dealing with.
Yeah,
He fixes everything
shit.
for Chris. And Chris's final words to him are, I accept it. I accept, Ethan. I accept.
Well, and not only that, like...
It's so dumb. It pisses me off.
And, what is Chris, do?
Function? What is his function? I don't know.
Well, he
Boulders.
gets so pissed off about people making bioweapons and the BSAA making bioweapons and Umbrella doing bioweapons. Like, that's his thing. He gets mad about that stuff. But at the end of 8, he's kept Ethan's daughter because she has powers. And what are they doing with her? They're obviously going to be using her against something.
She even says in that
she has powers
post-credit,
that even Chris doesn't know about.
Exactly. So, why
is
that okay?
Chris is a douche?
He
I
is.
don't like Chris past Resident Evil 1.
No.
Resident Evil 1 Chris is fine. Everything after that, he's just kind of a tool. And I don't understand. I don't know. I hate Umbrella, but I'm going to work for Umbrella because they're blue now.
Exactly. Well, it's like in real life, if, Exxon was a bad company, there was a huge oil spill, and they destroyed, half of the life in the ocean. I'm exaggerating.
Sure.
But,
I keep checking dead bodies for coins.
right. Pause on what I'm saying. I love the crystal mechanic in 8.
Oh, it's
Where
fantastic.
things turn it, where you get the trophies.
Crystallized remains.
Yeah, so good. But okay, so someone takes the name, some big activist that's gonna clean up the ocean decides to name their company Exxon, but the good one.
The good Exxon
Yeah. And everybody on Earth would be like,
is okay with it. Oh
yeah, that makes sense.
That's good marketing.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I feel good about this.
Yeah.
No one.
No one is saying that.
No one is saying that. And so this idea that, Chris is working for Blue Umbrella, but that's good Umbrella. No Umbrella is good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All Umbrella is bad.
All Umbrella is bad. I love that the symbol... The umbrella symbol originated before Spencer.
I do like that. I like that touch a lot, actually.
I wasn't exactly sure where that originated, other than it was just. It was
Well, I never really thought too much about it. It's just like, yeah, that's
Giant's
just the
chalice
logo.
or whatever.
Sure.
Was just
Well, it was the representation of the four houses of the four lords,
right.
right? And then, yeah, the chalice, came from that.
But were those four lords always in the village? I didn't see. That's the thing I didn't quite understand is
Ugh.
where did it all come from? Because the village obviously existed before Heisenberg and Moreau.
Sure.
And everybody, and that castle existed before Lady Demetresque. Demetresque, giantess lady. That everybody's gone crazy for.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where did they... And at the end, like, there was that weird ceremony space with the big king statues and everything. You know what I'm talking about? Right before you go to the factory with Heisenberg, and the bridge comes out.
Yeah.
When you
yeah.
put the giant's chalice. But those king statues are
They're massive.
weird.
And they're carved out of rocks.
And, like, okay, where did they come from? And are these Miranda's ancestors? Like... And it makes it seem like Miranda's centuries and centuries old, but also her daughter's been dead for... only been dead for 100 years. So, yeah, there's a lot of plot holes in Resident Evil 8.
Well, and again,
But
that's just Resident Evil in general.
I think, based on how they handled Resident Evil 7's plot holes, I think possibly Resident Evil 9 will resolve some of the plot holes from 8.
It might smooth some things over.
Yeah, because that's what 8 did for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does having the information from 8 make 7 a better game?
Yeah, I think so. Because a lot of the problems I had with 8 is that it didn't give a lot of good explanations on why things were. We didn't know. It never comes right out and says that Ethan's been infected.
Right. Shoot me. I loved the goats in 8.
Yeah, they were fun.
I don't love the crystals.
Ugh.
The crystals are driving me crazy.
I don't like the mercenaries mode. It pisses me off.
Have you gotten to stage 2 of any of
No.
them yet?
I haven't got S ranks on all of them yet.
Just wait.
See ya.
I mean, but he's gonna be
Oh,
back.
he's definitely going to come back. But it's still fun to shoot him when you have unlimited ammo. I'm trying to remember what to do next. I need to go back downstairs.
I'm actually fading.
You what?
I am fading fast.
Oh yeah, we're not going to finish this game. We just wanted a reason to talk about it again. And I think we said everything we wanted to say about it.
Yeah.
And how it ties in with 8. And ultimately, I guess the final thoughts on it is, yeah, they're fun games. They're very fun games.
Yeah, they are. I think 8's the better game.
I think so. I like a lot of what this game does in these opening moments.
Attack! I think I would sum it up this way. Resident Evil 7 is a survival game,
Yes.
and Resident Evil 8 is a hunting game. Like, Ethan is on the hunt in 8, and he's a
Definitely.
badass. And in 7, he's more self-preservation.
Well, it's the same vibe as like it's the same character arc as Leon.
Yes.
Leon in Resident Evil 2 is very much what the hell's going on. I need to just survive all of this and
Right.
get out of this place. And then in Resident Evil 4, he's doing karate kicks and cool stuff and jumping out of windows and
just a plain badass in his
he's
mafia
yeah,
outfit.
he's like a super spy.
Yeah, which is rad. I mean, I'm
No,
all in.
I love it.
I'm all in on 4, and I can't wait for the remake, which we're inevitably getting.
It's got to come.
There's the cop's body. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah.
I was gonna be a father.
We'll do this final fight with, or this last. We'll do this boss fight with Jack because it's not his last one, but it's the last we'll see of him for quite a while. And then call it. Mainly because there's another Evil Dead reference in that fight that makes me laugh.
Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
So he just said, "I was gonna be your father,"
Mm-hmm.
but now she says he will be. So obviously Ethan's infected with mold. We know that.
Yeah.
But is he talking about Evelyn?
Yeah. Who else would he be talking about?
So Evelyn's changed her mind as not having Jack be the father anymore.
And now it's Ethan. And I think it's because she has attached herself to Mia as the mother figure. And so now that Ethan is in the picture, because he's come here, he's a better fit to be the father figure because of his relationship with Mia. Because they are obviously, husband and wife as opposed to Jack being a father figure.
Who has this in the basement of their house?
This is a really,
seriously, it's
like,
weird.
what was it before it was all this murder stuff?
Yeah. Well, like
Right?
he's obviously teasing you.
He's baiting a hook.
Yeah, he is. I just love how brutal he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, snap.
That's gross.
Yeah. Now he's got his own chainsaw.
It's like
That's
scissor
not-
saws or something.
That is not groovy. Jaws of life.
Yeah.
That's what they look like. Is jaws of life.
It's got to be what they are, right?
Yeah.
I was guarding that.
This fight reminds me a little bit of the Heisenberg fight.
A little bit. Oh, that's gnarly, dude.
I mean, that's gonna mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if you're a mold monster or not. That's gonna mess you up.
It's still got to hurt, right?
Yeah, but Jack doesn't act like it does. You might as well. Like, Ethan at this point has got to be thinking, there's something different about me now. Right? Like,
He's got to have some inkling.
yeah.
But, again, I don't know. The game's not going to tell us, so...
Yeah, I mean, as much as I want him to be a John Marsden or an Arthur Miller.
Sure. Arthur Miller. Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Arthur Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I want him to be those people and have a lot of literary gravitas to him, he doesn't.
He doesn't. And he never will.
No.
Yes, he's better in Resident Evil 8,
He
but
is better
not a
in
lot
8.
better.
Not a
like,
lot better.
He's still a
he
very
doesn't
one-dimensional
communicate
character.
his feelings.
You know, as are all Resident Evil characters. They're
I
very
still-
one-dimensional, but we love them because it's fun.
Yeah.
Like as
It's
much
fun to play.
as much as we prefer well-written characters like James Sunderland, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like we still need. Like it would be exhausting if every character was a well fleshed out character.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's why we enjoy dumb things.
Sure. Well, then even Uncharted, I would agree.
Sure.
You know, the first two Uncharted games, Nathan Drake was just young Indiana Jones,
Yeah,
and I was on board.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones stuff.
It wasn't until we got to 3 and 4 that Nathan Drake kind of started being a little bit more well-rounded, and particularly in 4. But yeah, I feel that way about the Witcher as well. Like Geralt in The Witcher 1 had hardly any personality. Like
Well,
I don't even think he did have.
Well,
a
his personality was the amnesiac, you know,
Right.
which is a trope.
And even in 2, like that was his main personality. Like I'm just gonna serve the Emperor because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then we got Geralt in Witcher 3, and he's freaking amazing. Like he's one of the best video game characters of all time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't start out that way.
No, there are some rough edges.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Joel from The Last of Us is a good example as well. I think Joel had a very consistent character throughout the game, which is if Curtis Collins is watching, is one of my main beefs with Part 2.
Well, that is the ultimate beef with Part 2 is they
Completely disregarded all of the character growth that Joel went through in Part 1.
they kill his, you know, I mean, literally they kill his character, but also
But for-
they kill his characterization.
Yeah. That's, first of all, I don't feel like, you know, at me if you want, but I don't feel like Joel would have put himself in that situation.
He wouldn't.
The Joel that we played in 1 would have never allowed himself to be in that situation. And that's what bugged me the most about it.
It was a disservice to the character. And I don't like that.
I understand story-wise why they chose to do what they did.
Sure. I agree. Joel isn't a good person, and his comeuppance was coming.
Yeah, he needed,
However,
he needed to have that.
That how they did it in 2, it
Really
doesn't make
pissed-
it,
it
well, it
really
doesn't
pissed
make
me
sense. It's
Yeah.
against his character, like you said,
Exactly.
and so it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's a good stopping point for us.
I agree. So, overall, if you played Resident Evil 8 and you loved it, there's a chance you'll love 7. But just be aware, they're very different games.
Yeah, very different games. I like them both. I like 8 better, but 8 also does a lot of good work to help, you know, obviously.
I think 8 is a lot more fun because there's a lot more variety. All of the zones feel different and fresh. I don't get bored going through them.
Well, and it's
I don't feel like each zone lasts just long enough.
Yeah.
Possibly the factory might be a little bit annoying, because you have to.
there's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, there is a lot of backtracking in the factory. Like you go back to that foundry place and use the mold thing a few too many times. But really, it's not a complaint. It's just they gave us a maze, and it was hard to.
It felt very old school Resident Evil, going
Yeah.
back and forth to find the right keys that fit in the right doors.
Exactly.
You know,
Which it was
Which is
great.
fine.
I mean, I'm not complaining
it
about
still
it.
isn't cumbersome.
And after the factory, I mean, it's a roller coaster ride to the end of the game. Like it's literally 10 minutes and then the game's over.
It's a quick game.
Yeah.
And it can be very linear if you want it to.
Yeah. And yeah, okay, paying. Was it worth $60? Like, would I say to somebody, if you don't really have an interest in Resident Evil, would you pay full price for Village?
I mean, I don't know who's coming to it that doesn't like Resident Evil.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I don't know. I feel like the story. I guess the first time I played through the story, it took me about 6 hours.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's engaging. It's fun. I mean, I'm on my 4th playthrough of it. I'm still having fun with it.
yeah.
You know, like it's
And the challenges, I think the challenges are a good point here,
Yeah.
because I think they
That's part of the replay
dynamically
value.
shape the game. Particularly, you're doing the knife run, and so you're running through and not using any guns on any enemies, and that's challenging and fun. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I got the knife, I was like, "Yeah, that's rad," So I mean, it's cool, and I think that those challenges add a lot to the game that 7 maybe didn't exactly have. It still had the trophies, but it's kind of cool to have that inside of the game and brag about it.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Resident Evil 7 in retrospect is a good game and it tells a good story, but it makes a lot more sense now that we have 8.
It does. I think I feel like Resident Evil 7 has some of the best villains the series has ever done.
Yes.
Aside from just, obviously we love Mr. X, we love Nemesis and stuff, but they're just big dumb monsters.
Right.
The Baker family is very intriguing and very interesting, and they're fun to. It's fun when they chase you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
and the
it's
same
fun to
the
get
same things like
chased by
it's
Jack.
why Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters are fun when they're chasing you. It's fun,
Yeah.
Heisenberg's fun when he's interacting with you.
Yes.
Even Moreau's fun. I mean, there isn't a lot with the doll lady, Donna, and what's the Angie? Is that the name of the doll?
Yeah, Angie.
Like, I mean, they're weird and creepy, but there's not a lot of characterization there.
No, there's not. And the Dollhouse is more about
It's more psychological. It's psychological horror. That's
Right.
what the Dollhouse is, which was very surprising
Yeah.
to see in a Resident Evil game.
right. Well, and I feel like again, like we had a lot of horror tropes put into one game.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the vampires and the survival and escape for the castle. You've got the psychological hallucination, what's actually going on in the dollhouse. You've got body horror with Moreau because he's disgusting.
Very Lovecraftian in essence. It's very Shadow
Yes.
over Innsmouth stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you've got the onslaught. Like the nearest thing to like a zombie onslaught is the werewolves. Like
Yes.
they're relentless, and when they're on screen, there's tons of them.
Well, particularly in the Stronghold, is insane.
Like they're everywhere. Like
They're everywhere.
And then you've got the World War II era Wolfenstein type,
Yes. Nazi
black science
experiments and
modifications
Black
stuff going on.
science?
Yes, black science is a term that we use on this channel to mean science
Gone bad.
that isn't ethical.
Yes, black science. I've never heard that term before.
But it's easier to say black science or corrupted science
Sure.
as opposed to science that isn't ethical in nature.
Yeah, and then you have the awesome boss fight at the end.
It's not my favorite boss fight though. Mainly because I had a lot of trouble with it on my first round,
Sure.
and it made me mad.
I think my favorite is Lady
Dimitrescu.
When she transforms, my gosh. So good.
I like the Heisenberg fight, but there's a lot going on that it's hard to get a good visualization of it. Like I know it's a melding of man and machine, but it just looks like it's all machine.
Yeah.
Other than it's a machine that's yelling at you the entire time.
Right.
Like I don't really see the biological aspects of it. Like I know you're shooting at his face when he throws you up in the air. You're shooting a launcher at his face, but it doesn't look like a face to me.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to see that in it, and I wish it was a little bit more clear. But it's at nighttime. There's a lot of explosions going on. It's hard to get a sense of that fight.
Yeah.
It's fun. It feels good in your hands.
Yes.
But thematically, I was like, okay,
Right.
it was fun.
It was fun.
But yeah, I think the standout fight is Lady Dimitrescu, and I think I really like that. Again, spoilers. But I like that she straight up turns into a dragon.
Yes.
And I was reading through the concept art and stuff, and they were saying that the reason they went with that is that they were very much going with the Dracula inspiration.
Yes, which I love.
Like Dracula means son of the dragon,
son of
right?
dragon, yeah.
And so like they were approaching that, and that's how they approached the entire game. Like you had the vampire based on Dracula, you had the werewolves based on werewolf mythologies.
Right.
You had Moreau based on creature from the Black Lagoon, mer people, stuff like that. You had the doll, which was very much the ghost story side of
Yes.
it. And then you had Heisenberg, which was more traditional in keeping with what Resident Evil does, which is
Well, and I think-
manufactured horror.
I think also Frankenstein.
Definitely Frankenstein. vibes going on.
Heisenberg is
Thank you.
a direct parallel to Frankenstein,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that the other thing that I think Moreau did really well was
It was that pathetic.
Dr.
type of
Jekyll,
horror.
Mr. Hyde kind
Yes.
of thing. Because when you first meet him, he's sitting there watching TV and just begging Miranda to pay attention to him, and he's like this pathetic thing that you don't. And even Ethan in the game was like, "What are you?"
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
he kind of has
has
a
the word.
little bit
He's
of
like, you
empathy.
don't. Yeah. Well, and not. I don't know if Ethan has empathy, but it makes the player have empathy for that character because
Right.
Moreau even says he's like, you don't have to be cruel about it.
Right.
Like you don't have to be so cruel.
Yeah.
You know, Ethan's calling him grotesque and stuff like that. He's like, well, I know.
Yeah, but
you don't have to say it.
you don't have
Like,
to
come
say
on, man. Don't be a dick.
Exactly. But then he turns into that
Yeah,
weird
but
fish
then
monster
but
and is
he-
trying to eat you,
yeah.
and he's
it's
like,
like, okay.
"I'm the best."
Yeah,
I'm like,
and it's funny.
definitely a
it-
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
So I think that was what I was most impressed with the game is that I didn't know that's what it was going to be. The marketing had us believe that it was werewolves and vampires, and that Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters were going to be the main villains,
Yes.
and that's not the case.
Right.
I like that they hid the bulk of the game behind that marketing campaign.
Well, and they don't even. I mean, in any of the marketing, they don't mention Mother Miranda one time. Which I think it is interesting that they call her Mother Miranda, because there is a very like Mother Mary
yes.
theme to it.
I think it's that double entendre thing going on. It's like, yeah, she's the mother because she created all of them,
Right.
But then, yeah, even the imagery and stuff that you see in game and the pictures and stuff, it's very much the Madonna
religious on them.
figure.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah, and I think that they did a really 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 good job with all of it, and I think it is one of the best horror games to come out.
While not being very scary.
Yeah, I don't.
There's
feel like
moments,
those-
but overall, it's not a terrifying game.
The dollhouse is pretty terrifying.
The dollhouse is intense.
The dollhouse isn't terrifying. The rest of it is really just grotesque.
Yes.
Because even when Vampire Chick transforms into the dragon,
Yeah, it's very,
it's just like
Fantastical
"Ooh, that's
and
cool
grody."
and weird and gross.
but it's not terrifying.
No,
it's
it's
just
not
like,
terrifying.
okay, this is happening in front of me. I've got guns.
Yeah,
I can do this.
I can handle it.
But I like that the dollhouse takes away those
Well,
tools.
yeah. One of the very first things that happens in the dollhouse is she takes all of your shit.
And Ethan says, "Hey, where'd my gun go?"
Yeah, where'd my gun go?
and then
And which is terrifying.
yeah, it's disempowered you,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And you have to beat the game. You have to beat
have
the
to get
doll
through-
without any of your gear, which is really cool.
and it stresses me out though every time he stabs that doll with the scissors. I'm like, you're gonna hit your hand, man.
Seriously.
Like, don't stab your hand. But again, he's had his hand cut off prior
Yeah,
to that,
so
so
who cares?
who cares?
Who cares? Anyway, awesome. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
We'll be back on Thursday with our wrap up of the Alien RPG. Which I'm super excited for. There's one reveal I'm really excited for.
It's gonna be good.
And and then next Tuesday we're gonna play
What should we play? I think we're
not the Hinterfact, the
oh yeah,
Des-
the Dilatov Pass.
Delta Pass. game.
Kolot. It's called Kolot.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna play that,
That's right.
and I'm gonna try and prepare myself for that.
So we are gonna dive into that one a little bit.
'Cause that one's creepy. The other one I thought we should play is the one based on Centralia. Centralia.
What
PA.
game is that?
It's called Centralia Homecoming or Home.
something like that.
You know the one I'm talking
I
about.
do. I'm just trying to think of the particulars.
I think it came out on PS4.
It may have. The new that one game that you and I have been kind of keeping an eye on, that Song of Horror.
Yes.
It releases this month.
Oh,
next
dude,
week.
that game's so weird and
Uh,
creepy and.
I mean, let me clarify. It releases for consoles this month. It's been out on Steam for like a year.
I think it came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been out for a while, but
Well,
it's coming
it's
out on.
episodic.
So it's coming out on PS4 on like the 28th, I believe.
Dude.
So I'm excited for that one.
That
I
game's
do
intense.
kind of want to, and I think will be a solo type stream. There are a couple of things I think now that Resident Evil 8 has come out, I think it would be beneficial to do a playthrough of Demon Souls.
Sure.
Kind of revisit that because it has a lot of good horror themes in it
Yeah.
going on. But this is all stuff that we can hash out. But our basic ideas is that we want to jump into the Kolot game because we want
Yes.
to talk about the Dilatov Pass, and that's going to be kind of a more traditional urban legend type, conspiracy theory type stream.
Yes.
I think we really lean into
Which is rad.
what we think happened there, and
Yeah.
because that's a real world event that this game is based on,
Yes.
and it's weird.
Government interference.
Radiation,
All the way.
aliens,
Aliens.
Wendigos.
I'm down.
I love it.